Have you ever wondered about your team and company culture and how you can address that to make sure that your business performs long term? I'm Jeramiah Townsend with IBA United, and in this video right here today, I'm going to be going over video 4 or part 4 of the 5x5 business system. The 5x5 business system is a complete system for operating, managing, maintaining, and improving your business. Now, the 5 systems, the 5 parts of your business are vision, sales, product, team, and operation. Vision, sales, product, team, and operation. So of those 5 different areas, vision, sales, product, team, and operations, remember, each one has 2 components. So you need to have a vision for what you're doing, but you also need to have the mindset to carry it out. You need to have sales, but you also need marketing. You need to have a product, but you also need to have services. And when it comes to the 4th section, your team, you need to have a team, but you also have culture. And it's the team and culture balance that's so incredibly important for your business growth moving forward. Now, as we get into this, small companies, when you just have an owner operator, the owner is the team and the owner is the culture. And as you grow, you're going to bring on help. You might be the guy swinging the hammer and getting the jobs and doing the sales and everything else. But eventually, if you want your business to grow, you don't have to. But if you want your business to grow, you're going to hire a helper, right? That's your first employee, whether it's a part-timer, whether it's a 1099 employee, or however you're going to structure that, you're going to have to hire staff. So when we talk about staff or your team, there are 3 different categories of staff. You have your, what we're going to call your average staff, just your staff. These are going to be your average hourly employees. You're going to have your management team, which is going to direct your staff. And eventually you're going to have your C-suite. Now, generally speaking, an owner will bring on some staff and then until they have anywhere from 5 to 10 employees. And somewhere in that 5 to 10 employees, I just think of it as 6 or 7. But when in that 5 to 10 employees, he's going to have to hire a manager. For whatever reason, the human psychology, we can all oversee somewhere around 7 people, and 7 keeps on coming up everywhere. So they'll start hiring managers. This is where managers come into place. By the way, this is generally the hurdle for most businesses, usually in company sales with a top line revenue of $500,000 to $1 million. But you'll start hiring managers, and managers get you over the first, employees get you over the first hurdle. And then once you can manage so many employees, it's usually somewhere between 5 to 10, the owner brings on managers. This can be team leads, this can be assistant managers, whatever you're going to call them. This is your management section. And a company's value is really based on its management team until it gets systems in place. Systems is the next level, hence the 5x5 business system. You can start installing that system even from the very beginning. And that's the next hurdle. First employees, then managers, then systems, and then your C-suite team. Your C-suite is your CEOs, your COOs, your CMOs, your CFOs. If you don't know what those are, CEOs, Chief Executive Operator or Officer, your CFO is your Chief Financial Officer. Sometimes they'll also head up your HR department. Your COO, your Chief Operations Officer, your CMO, your Chief Marketing Officer. And so you'll have some of these C-suite level people. C-suites usually don't come into play until you get over 30 employees. But that's kind of where that comes together. Now your team, it's really, really important that with your team, that you have ways of training your team so that they follow your processes and you can duplicate your efforts. You need to be able to train them. You need to onboard them first off. How do you hire them on and bring them on and introduce them to your company? How do you train them so that they can go through that training process and know exactly what to do? And then how do you give them support ongoing training so that they can improve their own knowledge. And then how do you give them regular reviews, performance reviews? That's part of that ongoing training, performance reviews, and support to the staff, because you want to make sure that they have that and they can regularly improve to add more value to the clients and improve in the business. This ensures that your staff can operate on their own without you constantly looking over their shoulders. And that's where a manager, or an owner, I should say, that's where an owner has to train his staff to be able to operate on their own, solve problems on their own, handle questions, and all of those sorts of things on their own. Once they can start working on their own, the owner no longer has to have as much oversight, and he can start training these independent operators. They're operating independently of him. He might give them a job. They can become managers or leads of their own crew of people. So that's where we get into managers. Now, your managers have a slightly different skill set, and not everybody should be a manager. Like, your best salesperson is usually not the person to make your sales manager. Your best salesperson is so focused on sales, they do not want to manage a team of people. That's almost true always across the board. They'll be a good salesperson, but they will not be your top line seller. A lot of companies get this wrong. I've had it. I've bought companies where that's kind of what happens, and you have to work away from that. And it can be hard. It can be really hard. But with your management team, they need to know how to lead a group. They need to know what are the standards that they have to be attaining. They need to know how to train the employees underneath them or working alongside them, and they need to know how to set and reach these goals. That's what's really critical for managers. They need to know how to bring people on, and you're basically, as an owner, you're duplicating yourself with your management team, but you're not duplicating your sales hat and your management hat and all these different departments. They don't have to do everything. They're just focused in one area. That's essentially what a manager does. They need to know how to bring somebody on, how to train them, and how to say, okay, here are the goals, and I'm going to help you attain these goals. So that's what your management team needs to be able to do. And then they need to be able to report these goals to you as the CEO or as the owner of the business. So that way you can stay in touch with your managers. And if there are problems, the managers need to be able to identify those, usually by not hitting goals and KPIs that we'll talk about in section number 5, video 5 of the 5x5 system. But that's where the managers need to be able to report that to you. Ultimately, as the company grows, you're going to need to get involved with your C-suite team. And your C-suite team, we already chatted about that. That's your CEO, CFO, COO, CMO, all the C stuff, all the C-level stuff. Now, your C-suite team, they are the ones who drive the overall efforts of the company. And this is a transition for the owner. A lot of companies should never grow this size. I want you to know that. A lot of companies never need to make the transition to a C-suite team. There's a lot of things that have to happen. But just so you're aware, this is the third group of staff of your team, is your C-suite team. And the CEO is usually the owner, the founder of the company. He gives the vision and the drive to the company. And the C-suite team are the ones who carry out that vision. Usually, you don't come into C-suites, like I said, until you get to around 30 employees, more or less. And sometimes even more, significantly more at some certain times, because you can have managers in place to handle everything. But carrying that on and transitioning ownership, that's huge. But that's your team. That's your team component. You need to be able to onboard them. You need to be able to train them up, and you need to be able to make sure to give them a regular training and give them goals and help them attain those goals in their performance standards. That's the team component. The second part of the 5x5 system, of the team component, is the company culture. And this is actually more important and yet a lot more difficult to identify and target and get into. And that's your company culture. When a business is small, the company culture is the owner. Company culture is the inherent character of the company. It's the value of the business that the clients come to expect from the company. It's the focus of all the employees. So let me give you a couple of examples of that. Usually an owner has a very superior quality to whatever he's providing. And it could be his superior focus could be speed of delivery. And I think back to the 5-day kitchen and bath phenomenon that spread for a while there. It might be speed, it might be knowledge, it might be dependability, it doesn't matter. But whatever character that really drives the owner is the character of a business when it's small. And this is ultimately what the customers are buying, is the character of the owner. Now, as he hires staff on, eventually he has several employees and he has oversight, and these employees all deliver the same character. Now, here's why this is important and why it's hard to understand. In a business, you can have 2 employees, and if one employee is really focused on speed of delivery, because that's what's most important, and another employee is really focused on quality, and you might have another employee who's really concerned about convenience. These are 3 different wonderful character qualities: speed, quality, and convenience. But the company probably can't deliver on all 3 exceptionally well because it has systems in place that are geared to specific goals and targets, systems that the owner and the original operators built into the business. So that's where you need to understand the company culture, the underlying character that the business represents. And you need to make sure the entire staff understands the company culture. Culture is not, hey, we have a foosball table, we have a ping pong table. Culture is not, we go drinking every Friday after work is done. That's not company culture. Those are habits that people do. Company culture is the underlying character that your customers truly appreciate and are truly seeking from you. It's how you deliver your product or service. That is company culture. And that's what you need to clearly understand. When a business is small, the company culture is the character of the owner. And as it grows, eventually he's the one manager overseeing staff. And he's going to say, hey, don't do it that way, do it this way. Here's the process that you have to have. Oops, we're getting into processes. That's in video 5. But he's delivering a repeatable experience for his clients. He's delivering the same character and wants his staff to deliver the same character. You're trying to imbue character of the business. So as the company grows, all of the managers need to understand this character of the business, that's company culture, and needs to carry that out. And everybody needs to be on the same page and understand what this is. Now, here's the really important part. As you get into a C-suite team and as you understand the character of a business, as you've replicated the character of the business and instructed all your staff and managers and have all your training geared towards training this specific character. This is what we do. Yes, we do a good job, but our character is we deliver it fast. And if speed is your character, you are the fastest one to answer. You are the first one to show up. You will be the first one to get the job done. That's why people buy from you, because we are there and we are there fast. If that's your character, then your concern is not necessarily we're the cheapest, we're the least expensive option, we're always the best price. That's not your focus. Your focus is on speed, and your emphasis on everything you do, company needs to be done towards speed. That's the character that you have in the business. Now, this is where that's important. As you communicate that value, that is the value people buy. They buy the character. Yes, they want an HVAC system installed. Yes, they want to buy hardware or whatever it is they come to your business for. But ultimately, they want that combined with the character your company represents. So as you get closer to 30 to 50 employees and you start to install a C-suite, you'll end up having the owner of the company needs to transition his character over to all of the staff. Now, if the ownership changes and you have less than 50 employees, there's a statistic. This happens in almost every company. If you have less than 50 employees, what happens is the owner is such an integral part of the company, it always affects the character of the company, because the new owner will come in and the company doesn't have well-established practices all the time. If you have less than 30 to 50 employees, it doesn't have managers in place with this company character mindset. And so what happens is, as a new employer comes in, a new owner of the business, say you have 10 employees, anything under 20 employees is absolutely, it happens every single time. Over the next couple of years, you're going to cycle through a lot of employees, because the employees will say, well, you're different than my previous owner. It doesn't even matter if you're better. You can be an absolute rock star and you'll have a lot of employees change. And statistically, you're going to lose a guaranteed 10% of your staff. Sometimes you'll turn over your 50% or 100% of your staff within a few years, within 2 to 5 years. Now, this is totally normal. It's not unusual to have this staff turnover. Now, the reason why this doesn't happen as a company grows, as you have closer to 30, 50 employees or more, with these larger companies, it doesn't affect the employees. It doesn't affect their daily operations. The managers, they know what the systems are. You have developed systems. You have company culture apart from the ownership. And as a new owner comes in, sure, you get those Elon Musk owners who come in with a loud personality, who grossly changes company culture. Yeah, you can have that. But oftentimes that's not the goal when you change ownerships when you have 50 or more employees. That generally doesn't happen. But it does affect companies with less than 50 employees standard. It's very, very common. So understanding your company culture, the company character, it's the underlying value that customers come to appreciate in your business. It's that underlying value that's driven and delivered in that business. So that's your company culture, and you need to have a plan to implement a company culture. Now, in my companies, I have a weekly meeting. I have a weekly meeting with the managers, and then managers have their own weekly meetings emphasizing the company culture. And usually it can only be 1 to 3 key points. This is where you get into, sometimes you talk about having a mission, vision statement and stuff like that. That's where you get into these. And you say, this is what we do, this is how we do it, and this is why we do X, Y, Z. This is why we take this specific action to achieve this specific character. This is what we do as a company. Understanding your team and having the training processes in for your team, and having the training processes to teach company culture, clearly identified and clearly trained company culture, is critical to having a company grow, to duplicating the owner to his staff, ultimately to his management team, and have that company continue to function and operate without his direct oversight on a daily basis. This has been section 4 of the 5x5 vision, or the 5x5 business system, where we talk about the 5 parts of a business framework being vision, Oops, I thought I lost it for a moment. VSPTO, Vision, Sales, Product, Team, and Operation, dealing with vision and mindset, sales and marketing, products and services, team and culture, and then operations KPIs. In the next video, we'll get into section 5, being the operations of a business and all that entails. I hope that you have found this helpful, thinking about the 5x5 system and applying it to your own business. And truth is, any business needs to operate all 5 sections. All 5 of them are really important. The most important ones, they're in order: vision, then sales, then product, then team, then operations. These are the most important, and in the most important order to apply them. However, they all need to be addressed pretty much at the same time. You in your own situation will succeed and be more successful in some areas, stronger in some areas, weaker in others. So wherever you are, just start with that and you will succeed. But these are the 5 core areas of your business, and team and culture are the 2 core parts of understanding your company's team and making sure it's effective and it's working well as you continue to grow and operate your business. Ultimately, if you understand team and culture and have applied it well, your team will be able to run the business mostly without the owner being involved on a daily basis. This is why it's so important. It will automate the business. It will take you, what's in your head, and it will imbue it into your staff so that they can carry it forward. I'm Jeramiah Townsend with 5x5 Business System and with IBA United. We are independent business investors, business brokers, and business advisors, helping you in your business. I look forward to helping you. And as always, please give us a call or reach out to us on our website so that we can help you buy a business, sell a business, and grow a business. I'll see you in the next video. And as always, please remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment to these videos. This is critical to the growth of our own company and to the success of our own company. We want to lead with value. We want to provide great information. If you found this helpful at all, please do us the kind service of liking the video and sharing the video and just mentioning us on social media wherever you are. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video.